What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what is really influencing it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 3.57%, $2 the low, 209 is the high. So not necessarily the best day for Lucid, and just the broader market's kind of pulling back slightly. Nothing in specific, just last minute jitters associated to Nvidia's earnings. And then aside from that, some kind of escalation possibly coming from the whole Ukraine scenario. So I think that's spooking the market, but rather low volume today. 36.9 million for volume, 64.07 is the average. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So you had some selling first thing, ultimately is what kind of dropped it, and then some periodic buying, a lot more buying than a typical day during the trading day, as you can kind of see right here. So it is what it is. I think at this stage, just investors are just truly looking for the next big catalyst for Lucid, and that is the Gravity. Even looking on their social media, there's not really much. So they kind of pinned this about the Gravity opening, but other than that, it's just their typical random just PR posts, nothing really crazy to allude to. The fact that the Gravity is going to be coming up. Peter did participate in a podcast recently. No new information aside from him just saying that he doesn't see robo-taxis feasible in this day and age, possibly 2030 plus, but as of right now, nothing. So it is what it is. Just, I know it's kind of frustrating to see Lucid go down, but there's a lot of things going against Lucid. One of which is the whole Trump administration. Even though technically them removing the whole tax credit doesn't directly affect Lucid, and only a small percentage of Lucid's sales are attributed to leasing, it's still just the broader sentiment of it all. So I think that's one thing that's really spooking investors, because one analyst recently came out and stated that EVs, it was more oriented towards Tesla, but we already do know whatever happens to Tesla, good, bad, and the ugly. So ultimately the analyst did state that Tesla might be struggling a lot more than what people do anticipate under the Trump administration. So of course that does spook Lucid investors a lot more. Shorts, though, are rather timid right now, and take that with a grain of salt, of course, but net, they are increasing 206,000 shares. So it's kind of good. So you did have yesterday them returning, I think it was around 1.5 million shares. The following day, they just doubled the hell down, increased to 9.2. So 206,000 is rather timid. 24.2% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 188.62 million shares overall are being shorted, and then utilization is 85.94. So I think, like I said, shorts are just trying to bring Lucid down on a technical stance, and that's also one thing that's really affecting Lucid today is its technicals. So quickly popping over to 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, it was showing some signs of a nice possible reversal that did occur on the 19th, because it was starting to break above the ALMA, but since then it's starting to kind of just dwindle out. So once again, the technicals are starting to look as though it wants to really pull down, and Lucid was really fighting against the trend. So even though it still went down, it did fight right here, so a lot of consolidation, and even more so right here. Because of that action, it did cause the stochastic RSI to be, oddly, given the circumstances, overbought. So I think this is where you do see a little bit more downside coming. One thing I do want to bring up in relation to shorts that is somewhat interesting is more so this right here. So the average duration of a short holding their position is 73.45 days. So typically, whenever you see a higher number, that does mean that shorts are rather confident. And as of late, I don't know if you can kind of tell based on this chart right here, it has been going down. So essentially, I know it's kind of far-fetched, and it's Lucid's basically at like all-time lows for the most part, but shorts are kind of closing, reducing the position or the duration. So maybe they see a little bit more upside, but obviously take all that with a grain of salt. It's just, it's an interesting chart nonetheless to kind of analyze. And just to put it in comparison, Typically, a lot of their other like heavily shorted stocks are like in the 40 kind of day range. So shorts definitely have been betting that Lucid is going to go down for a very long time, and are there rather confident based on all of that. So just wanted to kind of share that with you. You do with all that information what you will, but looking at the options, 388,000 calls, 86,000 in puts. 52% of all the options being done so far today are bearish. Of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be above 250. Flip side, you now see a consensus for it to be sub $2. So people are still anticipating kind of further downtrend. You have some level of optimism, but it's still like for people to expect 250. I'm pretty sure everyone who's watching has an average lower than 250. So it's still not the best overall. But right now with it at $2.04, it is trading between this S1 and the S2. So $1.83 is going to be that next strong support, and then $2.14 is going to be that next strong kind of target / resistance. It has shown some signs that it wanted to break above that, but like I said, I think that was just algorithmic trading, really just piggybacking off of the broader market, kind of fueling it to go higher. And that's why shorts did double the hell down on Monday, because they just said, F this, I don't believe it. And turns out, I guess they were largely right. But we'll just have to, I guess, wait and see. Hopefully Lucid does have some stuff in their back pocket, partnerships or something like that that they can drop. But I think just investors are in it for the long play, as what kind of Peter has stated time and time again. So yeah, like I said, I think just a couple of things influencing Lucid is largely just the negative sentiment, technicals, and just lack of Gravity updates. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Do you see shorts leaving Lucid anytime soon? Or do you think that they're going to get back to where it was, roughly 30% of their free float? Do you think that's their end game? Or is there something coming for Lucid that could really shake things up? In my opinion, Trump would be very much into kind of the ESS component of that. I think that could be something that he does focus on. I believe last time he did put some initiatives out for that. So if Lucid was to pick back up on ESS, then that would be kick-ass. Like I've stated in the past, maybe why they said, hey, we're going to hold off on this is because at the time, like Saudi Arabia, the infrastructure wasn't really able to accommodate any of that. But since then, they've really invested a lot of money. So it would make sense to pick back up ESS, but what do I know, right? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And then one final thing, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto, and they have been absolute bangers. So definitely pop over there to take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.